guys, thank you for joining me for another episode of Inspirations. That's my podcast about knitting and yarn dyeing. I'm Christelle. I'm French, I live near Paris, and I'm an indie dyer, yarn indie dyer. And if this is your first time in the podcast, there is a new episode uploaded every Monday afternoon at 5 p.m. Paris time. There is a newsletter sent out every Monday afternoon at the same time, and the shop is updated usually on Mondays afternoons, with the exception of Mondays that come right after fiber shows. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me for another episode. So today I wanted to touch base with you on the latest show I was a part of. It was Bretz'Laines in Alsace. That's the region of France that is the most east and north of France. So northeast, very close to the German border. I was very close to Germany. And then I wanted to touch base with you on my projects, on my knitting projects, and the way I'm actually I have a plan to work on all projects and be aligned with my objectives, because I have big objectives this year, okay, of writing a book. So lots of work, lots of things to to break down in smaller pieces and to be able to work on consistently and make consistent progress. But I'm going to touch base with you guys about that in a minute. So last fiber show, so it was Bretz'Laines, it was last weekend. It was amazing. It was a fantastic fiber show. The organization was excellent, and it was actually organized by a group of knitters who have the habit of meeting I think once a week in Rittershofen. That's a little village in Alsace. And Monique, she's the head of the group, and she's my kind of knitter. She's totally adventurous. She loves to try new things. She is the driving force behind the group. She's not afraid of trying new techniques. She's not afraid to drive hours just to go to fiber shows. And she's not afraid to set up her own, because she thought, well, there's nothing around here for us, okay? Well, a group of knitters, very active. We love to buy yarn. We love to knit. And there is absolutely nothing around us. So let's organize something. So she did, and it was a success. So congratulations to Monique and her group. I am actually very inspired and amazed by a kind of, of initiative and driving force. It's I'm in awe, actually, of everything she did. And her group was, at the beginning, a bit like, are you crazy, girl? Are you really going to do that? And then afterwards, once everything, fell into places and everything was organized, they were like, that is so cool. That is so cool. I mean, the girls from the knitters group were the first to enjoy the festival, and apart from being knitters, they're also very well known in the area for their cooking. And my God, do they know how to bake? Okay, I mean the cakes, guys, the cakes. It was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, there was like 20 different sorts every day. Okay, homemade. I think 3/4 were homemade. And things quite difficult, things you buy in boulangerie or pastry shops, not things you cook at home or bake at home, like millefeuille, which is something very creamy with very crispy layers of pastry inside, and a coat of a sugar. And I mean, it's the kind of thing that you can find only in pâtisserie in France. And for the first time of my life, I had the experience of tasting one homemade, and it was wow. I even brought some home for my husband because it's his favorite cake. And he was like, mind blown, it's crazy good. I mean, and everything was like that. And there's something I have to tell you. I feel a bit ashamed, but anyway, okay, that's like that. I'll make it up to them next year. But for the first night of the festival, because it was very festive, there was things every night. With friends, we organized a dinner outside on the Saturday night, and on the Friday night, after, you know, setting up all the booths, the Knitters group had this like evening for vendors organized just to have a bite, and they told everybody, come with something from your region, because there was vendors from all over France and Germany, and they were like, just bring something from where you live and we're going to share it together at the end of the day. And I think it was awesome. And the thing is, where I live currently, there is nothing such as a specialty like, you know, near Paris. There's nothing, the region is not well known for any special recipe or anything. So I was not feeling very inspired. Then I'm going to move to Normandy at the end of June, and there are a lot of things I could have brought from Normandy, but I was not in Normandy physically, so it was not possible. And and it slipped my mind. So I forgot. So on the drive there, on a highway stop area thingy, I grabbed a bottle of white wine, good white wine, Pinot Blanc, and a bag of crisps, you know, camembert flavor. You know camembert? It's a very strong Normand cheese. Like, that thing can be either pasteurized, that means that the milk has been, you know, heated very high, and it's like okay, and it's sweet, not sweet, but the flavor is okay, not too powerful. And then you have the version where the milk has not been cooked at all, like les crus, raw milk, and this is the good thing, okay? But I think if you're not born in it, it's difficult to be okay with eating that, because we've talked about French cuisine in this podcast before, and sometimes I must say we're weird. We are so weird, okay? But yeah, cheese with raw milk, not cooked milk, is the best cheese. It's the best cheese because there's so much flavors, and the taste is very strong, and it's absolutely gorgeous with French baguette and a gorgeous red wine, okay? That's one of the things that I prefer in life. And so I have things to take for the next one, okay? But this time around, I grabbed a bag of crisps, camembert flavor. Okay, and I came to the evening with that. I told them a bit apologetically, I'm so sorry, I didn't have time to take anything else. I hope this is okay. And I was like, okay, no problem, don't worry, it's okay. Go and enjoy. And then, I mean, guys, it was like Hogwarts. Okay, you see the first meal like Hogwarts with all the buffet and all the food is piling up, and it was like that. Okay, and I brought a lame bag of camembert flavored crisps. I was like, oh my god, there was so many things. There were so many things, so many homemade things, and like big cakes, big savory cakes, like tarte flambée, and lots of sweet cakes as well, and so many things that they took so much time to cook, and they took my bag of crisps, laid them nicely in a very beautiful bowl, you know, layered with napkins, and then they put it there. It was very well done, but I mean, it was so lame, guys. It was so lame. At least the wine was okay. But, and I tasted the crisps, they were not even good. I mean, I couldn't have told it was camembert flavor. I don't pick them up, it's not good. Anyway, change of batteries. Finger crossed, the next one is fully charged. I thought I was recording, guys, and I wasn't. Okay. Okay, I've been talking to a shot of camera for like 5 minutes. Anyway, I'm back. This time I didn't forget to charge up the battery, the other battery. So yeah, Alsace, I didn't know that part of France at all. But it's absolutely, I was actually looking for a word while I was talking to the camera. It was quaint. It's very quaint. It's lovely. I rented a tiny Airbnb. It's a tiny house, and it was really welcoming, and very everything was perfect, and I had a blast. The only thing that was very difficult was the drive back, because I was so tired. I'm not used to, you know, going to bed late, and this time around I pushed myself a bit because there was something planned on the Friday night, Saturday night, and we had dinner with a couple of friends on Sunday night. So every night I was out, and I've been driving all day on Friday, working all day on Saturday, working all day on Sunday, and I was like completely exhausted on Monday, and I had to drive back actually. So it's only a 5-hour drive, but I spent 8 hours and a half because I stopped so many times and slept, just slept, okay? It was great. I mean, yeah, and it was very fun too, and it was really something that I really enjoyed, meeting you guys. I don't know if I met a lot of you guys that are watching the podcast, this version of the podcast, but a lot of other French knitter and French-speaking knitters came to my booth, and we had a lovely time. And something that a lot of knitters told me at least 10 times over the weekend is like, my gosh, you're tall. So I'm going to say that at the beginning of, I think, a lot of podcasts now. I'm Christelle, I'm a French indie dyer, and I'm tall, okay? I'm 1 meter 75 centimeters. I don't know how that translates. What is that in feet? Let me see. In feet. Oh, I'm 5'7", almost 5'8", 5'7", between 5'7" and 5'8". So I've been told I'm big, I'm tall, I'm a tall person. So, and it doesn't show in the podcast, but each time people believing that I was a short woman come to the booth and they told me, oh my gosh, you're so tall. And I was like, okay, they told me, I thought you were so small, so short, and like, you know, small in stature and all. And I was like, I've always been like the tallest person, the tallest girl in my classroom. I've always been the kind of person you put at the back of group photos because they're so tall. And I'm not wearing any heels, but I had a time in my life when I was wearing heels, and I think I was like more around at that time. I was 180, like 180 or 85. I was around 5'9" or even 6 feet with heels, okay? So I'm quite tall. I'm quite tall, okay? But it doesn't show in the podcast. But so you know, don't be surprised if you see me on a festival. Okay. Yeah, and that's it. Okay, now for the knitting. There is no shop update today because I don't have anything to put in the shop. I'm actually keeping my the yarn I dyed for the Paper show because I have another one coming up mid May. There will be quite the shop updates in May. The 1st of May there will be a surprise shop update. If you've been around a lot, or if you've been around for a few episodes, you might know what that means already, but surprise shop update on the 1st of May. Then on the 8th or 9th, I will confirm that in the next episode, there will be the May colorway of the Sock Knitters Almanac. I think we are away on this weekend, so I might have to do it on the Tuesday instead on the Monday, because in France, you know, in May there is a lot of bank holidays, like the 1st of May is the bank holiday, the 8th of May the bank holiday, the 18th of May the bank holiday, and the 19th of May is the bank holiday, okay? and because people are taking long weekends, it's very difficult to get hold of people in May. So the advent calendar will go on sale in the newsletter only, I think on the 30th of May. But I will tell you guys that a bit closer to the date, and I will definitely confirm all the dates in the next, not this newsletter, but the next one. And that's it for the shop update. And now I wanted to talk about my knitting, okay? Because I knitted a lot, and because I had a difficult time, I've been, you know, like, I've had a difficult time deciding on what I should be working on what I should be knitting. I want to knit. I love to knit. I mean, it's my number one thing I love to do, knitting. But I have such a hard time deciding on what to knit because I have so many work in progress that I love and then I want to make progress on, okay? But also I have to be strategic because I have those big objectives I have to work on and I have to work towards. Mainly I have the pattern for the shawl satisfaction that I want to publish, okay? I want this pattern to be published and I've been stalling on that for so long now. It's quite becoming like I'm quite ashamed actually of the time I'm spending procrastinating on, you know, publishing this thing. And also the book is quite a big chunk of what I have to work on. And because, you know, I consume a lot of content on how to build habits, how to become more efficient, how to better organize your time and better, you know, not only for the sake of productivity, it's not only that, but how to feel your life is balanced. Okay, how to feel that you are working hard, but also playing hard and trying hard to be a good mom, and so on and so forth. And one thing that has really sunk into my mind is the power of habits, and I really want to be building habits around designing. I mean, I don't want, because if I'm going to do things this way for the book and it's 12 designs, sock designs, and I'm not able to make progress on a single pattern, I mean, how am I going to do? It's going to be really, really complicated, because when I have a deadline, for example, for the pattern that I designed for 52 weeks of socks, volume 2, I mean, I had like these constraints, these deadlines I had to meet, and so it helped me, you know, structure my work and my workload. But when you're working on your own and you are the one, you know, fixing the deadlines and deciding when you're going to do things, it's tempting to just procrastinate because there is no consequence, okay, apart from, well, this is going to be like 2 days more late, more days late, and it's really no biggie, okay? But if I want to be serious about this, I have to build habits around designing. And so I'm starting with this thing on my bullet journal, this double page, which is something I've been doing for ages, like prioritizing my projects, okay? And so there is the projects linked to the book. There is the projects like the satisfaction shawl pattern that is a standing alone, just a pattern I want to publish. And then I have samples on which I'm working with my yarn that I want to rock on fiber shows, and I really want to, it helps me show you guys how the yarn looks knitted up, and it's a really strong driver for sales. So this is quite important too. And then I have the other projects that just are pure fun, and I don't want to neglect them because they are a huge source of well-being and inspiration. So I don't want to just not do them at all, just because I don't have the time. I want to make time for everything. And so this is getting a bit strategic and technical, but bear with me, okay? So the thing you want to do to build successfully your habits is not go all in like a crazy person, like you do, for example, on January 1st, when you have some strong resolutions you want to implement for the year to come. This is not the way to go. Usually, maybe the most popular one, I think, is going to the gym, okay? You're telling yourself, okay, I'm going to the gym. Going to the gym, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to, and you go full on that, and you go 3-4 times a week, 2 hours each time, and you're completely ruined. You're hurting everywhere, and it's really not something that you are enjoying, and it's really difficult. And you keep it up like for 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, because you are a very strong-willed person and you want to keep it up. But it takes such a toll on you, such a toll on your mental state, that at the end you're going to drop it because it's not sustainable. Because you have not built the habit before going all in, okay? And so the way to successfully build a habit is to tell yourself, okay, for the first 2 weeks or for the first month, my objective is going to be ridiculously small, okay? And I'm just going to go through the door, spend 5 minutes in the gym, and then I'm free to go, okay? And it's such a small objective that it's not going to weigh on you. It's going to be easily fulfilled. It's going to be something you're going to do very easily. I mean, in between errands, you're going to pop at the gym, look around, stay 5 minutes, maybe try something, and then go back. And it's okay. And you can do that as long as you wish, because what you are doing is actually showing up, and that's the first step of building a habit, okay? That's a theory, okay? So I decided to do that with my knitting and my design, okay? And most importantly, follow the book. So what I decided is I've already worked on the planning, and I know, for example, that the 1983 sock pattern is due for technical editing and testing beginning of May. So I'm not going to have ridiculously small objectives on this pattern. I'm going to talk about that later. But for the other ones, okay, the one that are due for technical edition and testing later in the year, for the colorways that I have already created, I decided to go with a ridiculously small objective every day. For example, for the cocooning socks, which are the pattern for January that is due in tech editing and testing beginning of June, I decided to go, those are mainly done basically, okay? But I decided to go with 1 round per day. That's my ORP, Objectif ridiculement petit in French, ORP. That's my ORP for this one, okay? And what I've stopped doing is taking notes manually to then type them in the pattern. I'm directly working in the pattern from now on. I'm you know, suppressing a step completely, because I'm usually stuck at this part. It's not the designing and taking notes that is difficult for me. It's after, when you have to take your notes and put them in the file. So I've decided to, you know, just get rid of that step, because I know I'm stuck there, and I'm going to directly put them in the pattern. That's what I've been doing for the past week. And I've knitted every day on this sock 1 round, so it's really small. Same thing for Ostara socks, 1 round. Well, actually, because I'm at the toe, it's 2 rounds, okay? And for the April socks, I'm just working 2 rows at a time on the sample. I'm actually sampling a stitch pattern for this one. Okay, that's how I'm going to make steady progress. And then when it's their month, I'm going to go all in on the projects. For example, this month I have to finish the pattern for the 1983 socks. That's pattern. So the first sock is finished. I actually cut it in half and then grafted its shirt, and it worked wonderfully. You see, I have to, this is an end that is not quite this picking out, but Otherwise, you can say there is a slight difference in coloring. That's where I grafted it shut. I mean, if I don't tell you, you can't see it. It's barely visible. Okay, it still doesn't work. Okay, still not enough here. I have to double that space at least, and this is too short for my feet. So I have to work on that again. Okay, but I mean, that's one project on which I decided to switch to not to ORP, but to PA mode, which is plan d'attaque, attack plan. Okay, these ones I have my objectives for these ones are pretty ambitious, and that's the priority. I'm working really on this first, and then I'm doing the other one. And because I have those two type of projects, it's really easier for me to decide on what I must need and how much time I have to spend on it. So the two projects that are in plan d'attaque mode for this month are the 1983 socks for the book and the Satisfaction shawl, because I wanted to be fully tested and out to the world, published at the end of May. And so this is the second version that I'm knitting. I'm done with the shawl body and I'm currently knitting the border. And it's perfect because I have to send the border instructions to my testers today. So it's perfect that I'm on the border. I was able to double check my instructions and now I'm ready to send it to the testers. So that's perfect. That's working very fine actually. And when I'm in plan d'attaque mode, PA mode, it's fine because the objectives are not so, you know, ambitious that I feel like crushed by them. I know that I can do it. It's not so much knitting, okay? And then because I like to have a bit of variety in my projects, I have this other projects on which I can just very lightly touch once a day or once a week for other projects. And then what I've done, because I've been doing that for like 10 plus years, I'm doing charts, okay? And I'm actually, you know, crossing out every little habit I want to implement. So this is the plan d'attaque part on which I want to finish both projects by the end of the month. And those are the ORP, so ridiculously small objectives part on which I want to build habits. So I'm just crossing out every time I'm managing to show up actually. And those are larger projects on which I'm not working every day, but every week. There is a weekday on which I'm making progress on those, and each in their own time, they're going to be the focus of the coming months. For example, next month I want to finish my Réconfort shawl. That is going to be the project I'm going to move to plan d'attaque. My broadleaf sweater is going to be the plan d'attaque for July. Okay, but you can see that I'm steadily moving up. And when I say objectif ridiculement petit, so ridiculously small objective, it's just a starting point, okay? It's just to make sure that I'm going to touch that project, put in a few stitches. But if I'm feeling like it and I have the time, I can do more. But it's just to make sure that I'm actually working a bit on them. So, lots of new things lately, okay? And if you are wondering how the bullet journal game is going, this is my week. It's going strong. It's full of colors. I love it. I love to have a peek in there. And this was the week before. And actually a lot of things written down in there. Or not, sometimes projects I didn't make any progress on. And I'm really enjoying because I'm able to keep track of the books I'm reading to. And very quickly, I'm trying to read a book per week. I read over the weekend, last weekend, The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi, and I loved it very much. It was great. I listened to Song of the Northwood as well. It was a short story on Audible, and it was great. And I'm currently reading the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, and it's great. I have a lot of books in the pipe right now. I've read also a French title called Le Rasoir d'Occam, but I'm not going to finish it because I'm really not enjoying it at all. I mean, I have a strong dislike of the main character, and not just a dislike. I find that the main character is just insufferable. I mean, I can't anymore. I can't anymore. And the book is so long. It's like 16 hours, and I've been like listening for it to like for 12 hours. And I mean, the plot is not even, you know, I can't anymore. So I don't like to do that. I don't like to let, you know, books unfinished, but I mean, I don't want to spend any more time of my life listening to this book and this character that I mean, he's a misogynist, and he is like, oh no, I can't, really I can't. It's the type of character that prefers to, instead, he knows that there's going to be a victim, like in a town, like a 5-hour drive from him. He knows before anyone else the name of the next victim. Okay, he knows, he has the information, he knows. But instead of calling the cops to help save the life of that person, he decides, no, I'm going to drive there. Okay, I'm just going to drive there. It's okay. It's not okay. Okay, I cannot suffer that. I mean, it's so terrible, and I mean, I'm pretty sure it doesn't happen in real life. I mean, if you know somebody's going to get murdered, you just send whatever help their way, okay? Or you are yourself like... Anyway, ce bouquin m'énerve. That book is really frustrating, and apart from that, the main character is so misogynist and kind of creepy as well. You see, he's a creep. It's a creep, really is a creep. Okay, anyway, so I'm not listening to that anymore. Okay, and that's it, guys. I hope you have a lovely week. I'll see you next Monday for the Supra Shop update. And in the meantime, take care, happy knitting, and yeah, till next week. Bye, guys.